Good day, students. Welcome back to another language session. Today we're going to be focusing on a new topic that we have not looked at previously. I'm going to begin this lesson with a story. The title of this story is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now, if you look closely, you will see that it was written by someone and also illustrated by someone. Do you know who is an illustrator? Do you know who is an author? Well, if you see that an author is a person who writes a book, then you're correct. And the illustrator is a person who draws the pictures in a story. Now, I'm going to be reading this story for you. Let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a family of 3 bears who lived together in a little cottage. There was a father bear, a mama bear, and a baby bear. Every day, they would have porridge for breakfast. Mama bear would put the porridge on the table to cool, and the bear family would go for a short walk. One fine day, they set out for their walk. Just as usual, coming down the path was a very naughty girl. Her name was Goldilocks. But trouble was just around the corner. So what trouble do you think was around the corner? Well, let's find out. Goldilocks looked through the window of a bear's cottage. Then she opened the door and went inside. Said Goldilocks. I smell porridge. Goldilocks could see the bowls of porridge on the kitchen table. She tasted each, one in turn. The largest bowl of porridge was far too hot. The middle-sized bowl of porridge was far too sweet. The little bowl was just right. Goldilocks ate the porridge all up. Goldilocks then decided it was time for a rest in a comfy chair. The largest chair was much too hard. The middle-sized chair was much too soft. The little chair was just right. Unfortunately, Goldilocks was too big and the little chair broke. So what is she going to be doing next? Interesting. Goldilocks thought she would feel much better if she had a little sleep. So she went upstairs into the bedroom. There were 3 comfy looking beds. The biggest bed was far too hard, and the middle-sized bed was far too soft. Then the little bed was perfect, and Goldilocks was soon fast asleep. Just then, the 3 bears arrived home. They were about to have a big surprise. Someone has been eating our porridge, growled Daddy Bear. He was very cross indeed. My porridge is all gone, cried Baby Bear. This is not right, exclaimed Mama Bear. The bears went into the living room. Somebody's been sitting in our chairs, growled Daddy Bear. My chair is broken, cried Baby Bear. The bears decided to check the rest of the house. Slowly and quietly, the bears tiptoed upstairs. When they got there, they couldn't believe their eyes. My goodness, exclaimed Mama Bear. There, fast asleep in Baby's bear bed, was Goldilocks. I think we need to teach this naughty girl a lesson, said Daddy Bear. So Daddy Bear opened his mouth as wide as he could, puffed out his chest. He took in a huge mouthful of air and growled the loudest bear growl you could ever hear. As quick as a flash, Goldilocks woke up and ran out of the cottage and up the path, and she never came back. The end. Now, students, how can I share this story with others? Any idea how we could share this story with others? Well, we can do it verbally, or we can do it written. And we know when we speak about verbally, we're talking about talking. And we talk about written, means putting it on paper. What document can I use to share this story with others? So what documents do you think we can use? I know some people are saying that we could write a summary. Yes, we could write a summary. Is there anything else we could do? Well, we're not looking on summaries today because we have looked on summary before. There is another way in which we could share this story. And this document is called a book report. Have you ever heard of a book report before? Well, if you have not, you're going to be learning today. So let's take a look at a book report of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now, the first thing that you need to take notice of is your introduction. And there are 4 things that I've placed in this introduction for you to take notice of. There are times you may see 3, but in this case I've placed 4. So in your introduction, you need to identify your book title. And in this case, the book's title is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You need to indicate or state the author of the book. So, in this case, it's Alice Sweeney. You also need to state the number of pages that are in the book. So in the case of this story, there were 3 pages. Genre. When we speak about genre, we are speaking about if a book is fictional or non-fictional, and we have looked on both, so I'm quite sure that you will remember what are fictional books and what are non-fictional books. Alright, so the second thing we're going to be looking on is the characters that make up your story. You need to write whatever you're stating in a sentence. So we can say that the main characters are Goldilocks, Daddy Bear, Mom Bear, and Baby Bear. The next thing that we need to identify is our setting. And we all know that when we speak about setting, we're speaking about where your story took place. So in this case, the story took place at the Bear's cottage. Then we're going to be looking on what was the problem in the story. And yes, there are similar features to our story map, but it's not exactly a story map. So, while walking, Goldilocks decided to explore the bear's cottage, where she ate and eventually fell asleep in the bed of Baby Bear. The next thing that we are going to be identifying from our story is, how was the problem solved? Well, after searching and finding Goldilocks in Baby Bear's bed, Daddy Bear screamed or scared her with a loud roar. She never went back near the house. Now I am going to be taking things from you. I'm going to be getting your perspective on this story. So, what was your favorite part of the story? So, what was your favorite part in the story? Alright, that's what it's basically asking me. So, for me, my favorite part of the story was when Baby Bear's chair broke and she fell, meaning Goldilocks fell on the floor. The next thing I'm going to be asking of you in your book report is, did you like this book? And in this case, you'll have to state. If you like it, you have to tell me why you liked it. If you didn't like it, then you'll have to tell me why you didn't like it. Alright? So, you're giving me your opinion, your thoughts on the book. Well, in the case of me, I liked the story, and it teaches us never to enter or interfere with others, with other people's belonging. Now, there are times you might be asked, would you recommend this book to a friend? So if you're given that, then you can state if you would, yes or no. And there are also times you'll have to give a reason why you're recommending the book or why you are not recommending the book. Alright? So, what do we need to consider at this moment in time? Well, at this moment in time, we need to consider what is a book report and what are some of the features or things that must be in a book report. And if you think about what we just spoke about, that would be included in all book reports. So, let's examine what is a book report. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to just think about it. What do you think a book report is? So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about it, and then we are going to be having a discussion about it. So 5 seconds beginning now. 5 seconds are now up. So let's see if you're on the right path. So a book report is a written composition or oral presentation. And normally when you're giving a book report, if we say oral presentation, you would generally write it, memorize it, so that when you go up there, you would present it without your paper. Alright? So, a book report is a written composition or oral presentation that describes, summarizes, and often, but not always, evaluate a work of fiction or non-fiction. So what it means is that fictional books, we can write a book report on it. And we can also write a book report on non-fictional books. So any type of books. Alright, so keep that in the back of your minds. Now, all book reports have common things that are common to it, or similarities. Alright, so we can call them features or we can call them characteristics. We're speaking about the same thing. So, book reports, they generally follow a basic pattern or format that includes the following information. So, in a book report, you need to indicate the title of your book. You indicate the author of the book. If in some cases you can indicate the year in the year in which the book was published. So these especially would be for books like autobiography, etc. You'd have definitely state the year in which it was done. Alright, so as I was saying, you need to state who is the author of the book. So state the name. No, you do not need to state the name of the illustrator, because the key person is the author. You need to state the genre or the type of category in which the book falls. For example, is a book an autobiography, a biography, or is it fictional? What type of book is it? So you state. Now, after we do this, we are going to be giving details of the story. So just like when we mapped out our story using our story map, you're going to be given small details about the story. So in this case, you would identify the main subject, the plot or theme of the book. You will give a brief summary of the key points of ideas treated in the book. You'll also give or state reader's response to the book. Identify its apparent strengths and weaknesses. Now, for grade 3, you are not going to be doing all of these things. As you move up your grade, then you'll do all of these things. For grade 3, we are keeping it as simple as possible. So let's look on our format for grade 3. So in grade 3, we are going for introduction. And in our introduction, you need to state the book's title, state the author, the number of pages, and the genre. You state the characters or the main characters. You state your setting of a story. And if you notice, for those that begin with a sentence, because when you're writing your book report, you write it in sentences. So, it's asked, what was the problem in the story? So you write it in a sentence stating what it is. Then you state how. How was the problem solved? Again, you write it in a sentence. Then it's going to be getting more personal, where you are going to be involved. So it's going to seek, or you're going to be stating your favorite part of the story. Then you're going to be stating if you like the book that you have read. And generally, if you like it, you'll have to state why. If you don't like it, then you'll have to state why not. You'll also have to state if you would recommend the book to a friend. And you'll also have to tell me why you will be recommending the book. Or if you're not recommending the book, why you are not recommending the book. Now, students, you're going to be reading a story for me today. So, the story that you're going to be reading is The 3 Billy Goats Gruff. After you have read the story in the PDF, in the next document, you are going to be completing your book report in your notebook. So all the things that we just spoke about will have to be in your story. So students, we have come to the end of our session. Remember to look at the story, read it, and fill in the necessary information of the story in your notebook. And just to let you know that yes, I know you have heard the story before, but make sure you read the story that is given to you. Have a wonderful day, students, and I'll see you again soon.